Welcome. So this is your yoga class for anybody who's had a baby. So whether that's 6 weeks or over 6 years ago, this class is for you. So we're going to start by standing in a nice comfortable seat. Doesn't matter what your feet look like, just making sure that it's comfortable for you. You can bring hands to prayer in front of you or simply rest arms by your sides. And then gently close your eyes. I always like to put a little bit of movement, a little bit of sway into my hips here. You can choose to stand still. Starting to focus inward, taking your attention to your breath. This is our starting point always. The breath is always with you. Through the good, the bad, and the ugly times, the breath is always there. And so using it when we need it, to help anchor us here to the present, to this exact moment right here, right now. So you can watch the breath track up and down the spine. As you inhale, it moves up from your pelvis all the way up to your chest. And as you exhale, you can watch that breath track back down from your chest deep down into your pelvis. So staying with this visual, watching that breath ebb and flow, rise up, rise down, lower down. Try to complete each cycle, making it as full as possible. Good. Taking 3 more slow, nourishing breaths. Don't rush it. Remember, in this class, my cues are all suggestions, so you take what you want, leave the rest behind. As with motherhood, right? You do what feels right for you right here, right now. Nourishing yourself. Recharging. Awesome. Okay. Open your eyes when you're ready. We're going to bring the arms down by the sides if they're not already and lower the shoulders down as much as you can. If you want to do a shrug, you can lift your shoulders up high and then release and then feel that settling. Okay, still shining up tall through the crown of your head. Inhale, lift and lengthen through the spine, and then exhale, drop right ear to right shoulder. So making sure the shoulders didn't drop. They're still nice and level with the floor. Arms are heavy. Notice any sensation that you're feeling through the neck, even maybe up through the skull, chest or back, maybe down the arm. It's all welcome. We're just noticing it. Can you still take a breath here? It's not too juicy. Good. Okay, tune into your next inhale and come back up through center, and then exhale, left ear to left shoulder. How does that feel? Comparing each side. One side might be way more juicy than the other. That's okay too. Just noticing, just witnessing it. Keep encouraging your breath to move there into the space where you're feeling restriction. Remember, those out breaths are available to you when you feel like you need that extra release. Good. On your next inhale, come back up through center. And then exhale, drop chin to your chest. Now making sure the shoulders don't round here. Keeping your shoulders stacked high over your hips. Just your head comes forward. Seeing if you can really release any tension in the back of your neck, skull. And allow your head to hang super heavy. Wonderful. Tune into your next inhale. And come back up through center. All right, so we're gonna take the right hand up, kind of like we're waving, palm facing forward, and elbow at the height of the shoulder. And then we're gonna take the left hand back, like we're waving behind, and again, elbow at the shoulder. Now, if we don't achieve this, for some reason, the joints aren't just working with us, that's okay. We're just attempting to get somewhere around there. And then we're gonna start to rotate, kind of like puppet arms. Or cactus arms. I don't know. What do I look like? A puppet or a cactus to you? Just rotating around, attempting to keep the elbows up at the height of the shoulders. I even have to watch myself because I know my left side is a lot weaker and so it tends to drop. So again, we're just noticing, we're just recognizing, we're not pushing ourselves to that 100% extreme challenge. We're just celebrating that we showed up, that we were able to carve time and space out to step onto the mat. Good. Keep rotating, moving into the shoulder joint. So remembering in class, as we fold forward and drop our head below our hips, that allows for the potential for air to get sucked up through the vagina, which is a-okay if it happens. But to help avoid that or prevent that from happening, just give that gentle lift to your bits. You can explore that now, kind of like you're sipping a milkshake up through the top of your vagina, just like a 10% engagement. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, just a gentle squeeze down there in the bits will help to protect air from going up. Awesome. Okay. Last cycle and release down. Give those shoulders a little roll out. Okay, so if you're not already there, come to the top of your mat and find your mountain pose. So stack your heels below your hips and feet parallel to one another. So in mountain pose, really important to get that alignment. And stacking your ears over your shoulders over your hips over your heels, all four corners of your feet rooted equally into the floor. So if you're more recently postpartum and you weren't working with me before about alignment, then what could happen is this S-shaped body forms where your tailbone here tucks towards the ground. We really want to avoid that from happening, causing your pelvic floor to weaken, your core to not become as stable, causing chronic lower back pain, and just a whole slew of problems we don't want to have to navigate through. So rather, I want you to blossom your bum, blossom through your sits bones, tuck your chin so it's sitting parallel to the floor, and this here is the pose, is the posture we want to be in when we're cooking, when we're standing in lineups, when we're walking is really important as well too, to not come back into that hip tuck. If you are a hip tucker, I'm a hip tucker. So good. Okay, so your mountain pose. Then bring your arms up parallel to the ground. We're gonna cross the left over at the elbow. Crossing left over and then wind those arms. Okay, bringing palm to palm or back of the hand to back of the hand, or just grab some sort of clasp that you can here. But keep drawing your fingertips up, getting that nice big juicy stretch through the shoulder blades. Okay, all four corners of your feet are still equally rooted into the floor, yeah? Inhale, lift and lengthen, nice tall. Exhale, blossom your bum back as you sit down into a chair. All right, check to make sure as you lift your heart up that you haven't distributed the weight all into your heels. So could you equalize the weight into all four corners of your feet? Keep lifting up through the fingertips. This is a big, juicy pose. But if you can't take a breath through it, then you're too deep. We need to modify a bit. We need to celebrate where you're at. Building that fire in through the foundation. This is good, this is juicy, this is what we want. Beautiful. And then as your next inhale takes you back up to standing, you can release down and bring your hands to your hips. Give those shoulders a little roll out. And I'm just gonna show you here from the side view. Standing up nice and tall in your mountain. You're gonna take a giant step back with the right leg. Big step back. So making sure your back heel is down and back toe facing the front right corner of your mat. Your hips here facing the front of your mat. Keep your hands on your hips. Keep your front knee soft, so don't lock it here, but the front leg is straight. Coming into pyramid pose, inhale, lift and lengthen through the spine, and then exhale, spill forward. As you spill forward, come just halfway here. Remember the cue to lift your bits if you're gonna drop lower, okay? And then reset your pelvis. So what tends to happen is our heart tends to open to the sky. We want to draw the right hip crease forward and the left hip crease back. And there, imagining like a martini glass is sitting on the back of your pelvis here on your sacrum, it wouldn't tip off to one side. Okay, so you feel that? That'll give you an immediate charge up the back of your leg. That's good, that's what we want. If you want to now come deeper, you can, but don't lose sight of that alignment in your pelvis. So you can reach for your leg or for the mat. And if you have dropped your head below your pelvis, lifting your bits, and then let your head hang. Take your nose from side to side. Make sure there's no tension hanging out in the neck there.
These forward folds are really beautiful for creating traction in the spine, so opening up the vertebrae. Remember, keep drawing your right hip crease forward, left hip crease back. Front leg is soft, it's not locked. And on your next inhale, start to walk up that leg all the way up and up and up to standing with your hands on your hips. All right, pivot on your heels to face the side of your mat now. Plie your toes out to the outer edges of your mat. And then we're gonna just start to flow from side to side, kind of like this ninja flow. So placing your fingers on the inside of your thighs for a little extra stability here. Heels of your hands on the top. And if you want to, you can start to explore a gentle twist, a gentle rotation through the spine as you come from side to side. How does that feel? Good. One more to either side. Just balancing yourself out. And coming back in through center and up through standing. All right, take your feet now and make them parallel to one another. Okay, redistribute all four corners of your feet into the earth. Yes. And then take your hands to your hips, and we're gonna just start to rotate into the hips. Keep your head in the center line if you can. So we're not rotating the torso, just the hips into big cycles around in one direction and in the opposite direction. Yeah, feels good. Get that mobility in through the hips. Beautiful. All right, come back in through center. Pivot forward on your front toe and hop that back foot up. Give her a little shake out at the top. Find your mountain. Yes. Okay, ready for our chair? Showing you from the side. Bring your arms out, bringing now the right elbow over the left. And then wind, wind, wind. Find your eagle arms or your variation of, okay? Now raise your fingers up towards the sky, and as you do that, settle your bum back, blossoming the sits bones as you sit back like you're sitting in a chair. Lift your heart up, 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 and then redistribute the weight in your feet, making sure that all four corners of your feet are equally rooted into the mat. So you can see I'm inviting a little bit of micro movement here. I think a little bit of movement in these stationary poses is beneficial for helping you to explore maybe a little bit deeper. Being mindful to keep blossoming the bum, keep lifting up through the heart. Don't forget to breathe. Remember, if you can't take a breath, you're too deep. That fire is building in the foundation. That's good. It's all good. One more breath. And then slowly stand. Release your arms. Roll the shoulders out, shake the hips out, and find your mountain. So from the side view, mountain legs, hands to your hips. Take a giant step back now with the left leg, hips facing the front of your mat. Remember that front knee, it's not locked. Nice and soft, just a micro bend there. All right, keeping your hands on your hips as you inhale, lengthen through the top of your head, and then exhale, start to spill forward. Just coming halfway, so your head and neck are still tracking your spine, right? Nice long spine. Okay, so can we try to draw the left hip crease forward and the right hip crease back this time? Leveling off the hips, so if we have that drink sitting on our lower back, it wouldn't spill to one side or another. Nice, big, strong breath. And if you want to explore a little deeper, keeping that alignment in the pelvis and the hips as you bow forward, making sure that front knee is still soft. You can bring your hands to your leg or coming all the way to the floor. If you're dropping your head, protect your bits. Take your nose from side to side. Encourage any tension to release out of your neck. Beauty. One more breath. And slowly, with that soft front knee, start to walk your way up and up and up. Take your hands to your hips. Pivot on your heels, facing the side of your mat. Plie your toes out. All right, so we're gonna find that side stretch lunge. And if you want to, finding that beautiful twist, that rotation of your spine. Use the heel of your hand and the top of your thigh to give you that extra added support. One more to either side, ending off so you feel balanced in the body. Good. And coming back through center, standing up. Okay, hands to hips, feet parallel to one another, so like they're on train tracks. And let's start to roll around into those hips. So the hip here, the hip joint, it's a ball and socket joint. So there's a ton of mobility and rotation in the hips. Same with the shoulders, which is why there's often a lot of injury there among people. Good, and then rotate around. So if you're under a year postpartum, then you could still have a lot of relaxing flowing through your body, even up to a year postpartum. So just being aware of that, because that extra mobility, that extra relaxin that opens up the joints for when you're pregnant can have an impact on areas like your hip joints or your pelvis, helping to loosen them up when maybe we don't want to that much, making them unstable. Good, back and around through center. And then we're gonna pivot that front toe forward, hop the back foot up, and give her a little shake, okay? Standing balance poses. They're some of my favorite poses in yoga to do. Because they're so humbling. So when you fall out of them, you're like, okay, having one of those days. Because that kind of emulates mummyhood to me. They're not all rainbows and sunshine every day. And so standing balance pose also help us to really connect to our center, that mummy strong, our core here. So I want you to take your fingers, I want you to feel your pubic bone. Okay, and then an inch up from your pubic bone, that's kind of where your core is. Your transversus abdominis, more specifically, sits way deep inside there. It's your third innermost belly muscle. So you've got your six pack, your rectus abdominis, your obliques here on the sides, and then your transversus is way deep down inside. And for most of us, it's the weakest, okay? So we want to make sure we're connecting there, right there to our mummy center. So when we're coming into a standing balance, I'm going to give you the cue to help engage or connect or hug. And this will give you the stability that you need. Now, if you fall out, that's okay. You just join back up when you're ready. All right, so showing you from the side here, we're going to take the right leg, tuck that foot back halfway down your mat, and create one long line from your back heel all the way up to your front shoulder. Now, take your arms up overhead and get in alignment all the way from the right fingers down to the back right heel. All right, that strong left leg, that mountain leg is toned in the knee and in the thigh and activated all the way up to your upper glute. Okay, so that's your left leg. All right, so what we want to try and avoid doing is breaking at the hip and creating like an L shape here. Keep this one long line as you start to hinge forward into warrior three. Now you don't have to come far, you could just come an inch or two forward and flex the right foot and charge the leg all the way up to the top of your right glute. Okay, now imagine plugging your right hip into the socket. Plug it in, and there we connect to the core. Finding the stability, finding that center. Have you held your breath through this pose? Can you breathe? Encourage nice rhythmic breathing. Also helps to keep our stability during these balance poses. Whew. Fire is building. It's all good. Keep charging up right up to the top of your glute, the gluteus medius. And lastly, find your drishti, a soft focal point on the ground in front of you. Hold your attention there. Good. One more breath. And slowly, with control, start to raise yourself up and up and up. And we're going to come into tree pose. So plant that foot on the inside of the left leg, anywhere under the knee. Even if your practice takes you up to the inside, I'm encouraging you to keep under the knee so we can help really truly connect here. So remember your strong mountain leg on the left side. Don't lose sight of that. Charge it all the way up to the glute and then really connect your foot into your leg. So glue it in as if a magnet is drawing your foot in. There, we create this arch of support, which connects to the core. Yeah, not the six pack. We don't need strong six pack. I mean, we don't need chiseled six packs, but a strong core is essential as we move through the later stages of our life even. Yes, keep breathing. Find your drishti. And slowly bringing the arms down with control coming through stork and all the way to the floor. Whew, give it a shake. That was big. Are you ready for the other side? Let's do it. Showing you from the opposite side now. We're going to extend the left leg long behind. Bring the arms up and create that long line from the left fingers back to the left heel. Remember, we're not looking to come parallel to the floor necessarily today. I mean, if you want to, great. Just make sure that that right side, you're toned all the way up to the top of the glute. And then start to hinge forward, keeping that one long line. Find your drishti, find your breath. Plug the left hip socket, plug it right in, creating that connection to your core. Are you charging all the way up to your glutes? Find that strong foundation. Really juicy. Keep reaching the arms up. You've got this. Almost done. One more breath. And then with control, slowly coming up into our tree, plant that foot onto the inside of the right foundation leg here, somewhere under the kneecap, okay? Plug it in like that magnet is drawing your foot, absorbing it into your leg, charging up to your glutes. Keep your arms up overhead, or if you want, you can bring them to your hips. Breathe. Find your drishti. Remember that out breath is available to you. If you're finding that resistance, that challenge too great, slowly bringing arms down. And with control, coming through stork and all the way down. Click, click, click goes my hip. All right, shake it out. Take a stroll to the back of the mat. A much deserved Shavasana is coming your way. Genie squat your way down all the way to the ground. So your Shavasana can look like whatever you want. You can stay in a seat. You can move yourself to a couch or a bed, comfortable position, just somewhere where you can stay for the next few minutes, as comfortable as possible. Bring in any props that you might have nearby, okay? So coming down, I'm gonna come to a seat, but coming down into a comfortable position for you. And then when you're ready, close your eyes. So it's very important to complete the class, complete the ritual, and finish the Shavasana. So it's very easy to just turn off your device and go about the rest of your day. But after a very fiery challenge like we just experienced, it is really crucial for your body and for your mindset to help to reconnect, realign yourself. Bringing your focus back inward and reflecting on how you're feeling mentally, emotionally, physically now. Staying right here in the present. Find expansiveness through your breath. And if you notice your mind trying to take you away into any future thoughts, or thoughts of the past, notice what that is, put a pin in it, and then refocus right back here in this present moment. Refocusing on the breath or somewhere in the body. Deepen your breath. Finding slight movement in your arms and legs, perhaps rotating your head from side to side. Keep your eyes closed if you can, helping to minimize the distraction and keeping you focused inside. Slowly rolling on to your side, and from there, ragdolling your way up, ever so gently, finding your tall seat. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. The light in me honors and bows to the light in you. Namaste.